There are very few weapons in Star Wars canon that can make Jedi stop, turn around, and run. But the moment those red photoreceptors lit up, the twin blaster cannons unfold and the shimmering energy shield snapped into place. Even experienced Jedi understood the reality of the situation. This was not a fight they were guaranteed to win. Today, we're breaking down one of the most feared war machines ever built in the Star Wars galaxy, the Droideka, also known as the Destroyer Droid. These weren't expendable infantry like B-1 battle droids, and they weren't simple upgrades like the B-2 super battle droids. Droidekas were elite combat platforms designed to overwhelm their enemies through speed, firepower, and defense. They could roll into a ball faster than most vehicles, deploy personnel shields strong enough to block lightsabers, and unleash sustained blaster fire capable of locking down entire corridors or even battlefields. In this video, we're covering everything currently known in Star Wars canon about the Droideka. That includes when they were created, where they were built, how they were used in combat, what weapons and materials they relied on, how intelligent they truly were, and what ultimately happened to them after the Clone Wars came to an end. The Droideka was originally designed by the Colicoid species, an intelligent arthropod race whose biology directly influenced the Droideka's design. Colicoids are naturally capable of curling into a ball and rolling at high speeds, and that exact ability became the defining feature of the Droideka. Manufacturing was handled by the Colicoid Creation Nest, with early production facilities located on the world of Cola 4. As galactic tensions escalated and the Separatist movement took shape, the production later expanded to Geonosis, which became the industrial heart of the Confederacy of Independent Systems during the Clone Wars. From the beginning, the Droideka was never meant to be cheap or disposable. They were designed as elite shock units intended to break enemy lines, suppress Jedi, and secure key locations. Their complexity and advanced systems made them extraordinarily effective, but also extremely expensive. Droidekas entered active service prior to 32 BBY, with their first major appearance occurring during the invasion of Naboo. This conflict immediately established their reputation. During the battle, destroyer droids were deployed aboard Trade Federation ships, as well as the planet's surface. When Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi encountered the Droidekas aboard the droid control ship, they were forced to retreat, unable to penetrate the droid's deflector shields. On the ground, Droidekas proved devastating against the Gungan Grand Army, tearing through formations and even destroying large shield generators. At this stage, Droidekas were still connected to a centralized control system. When Anakin Skywalker destroyed the droid capital ship in orbit, every battle droid on Naboo, including the Droidekas, shut down instantly. This single failure would permanently change how the destroyer droids were designed going forward. By the outbreak of the Clone Wars in 22 BBY, the Separatists had corrected this vulnerability. Droidekas were upgraded with independent tactical processors, allowing them to operate autonomously without relying on a constant control signal. This change made them significantly more dangerous. Even if communications were disrupted or command structures collapsed, the Droidekas could continue fighting based on their own programming while still receiving strategic orders from tactical droids or even commanders. Throughout the Clone Wars, Droidekas were deployed across countless battlefields, including Geonosis, Christophsis, Ryloth, Coruscant, and numerous Separatist capital ships. They were often assigned to defend high-valued locations, reinforce critical choke points, or act as mobile heavy weapon platforms against clone troopers or even Jedi alike. As the war progressed, multiple Droideka variants entered service. Early models, later classified as P-Series units, were extremely effective but also extremely expensive. These were gradually replaced by the W-Series, which became the standard destroyer droid throughout most of the Clone Wars. Late in the conflict, the Separatists introduced the Q-Series Droideka. This version featured improved shield generators that allowed the Droideka to fire at full power without weakening its defenses. The Q-Series represents the peak destroyer droid design, and the units encountered by Anakin and Obi-Wan aboard General Grievous's flagship during the Battle of Coruscant are identified as these models. Additional variants emerged after the Clone Wars, including the Droideka Oppressor, a heavy artillery version developed too late to see widespread wartime use, and the Droideka Sentinel, which is a modified variant designed to serve as a stationary automated defense platform. And one of the most interesting ones we have here is the Droideka Sniper. Unlike the standard Droidekas, the Sniper variant was equipped with a long-barreled heavy blaster rifle, allowing precise long-range shots. This variant oftentimes traded deflector shields for enhanced armor, making it a deadly threat in urban combat scenarios. These versions extended the usefulness of the Droideka well beyond the fall of the Separatists. Now, a Droideka's primary weapon was its twin repeating blaster cannons, capable of sustained high-rate fire. This allowed a single unit to suppress an entire squad of clone troopers or force Jedi into defensive positions. Defensively, Droidekas were protected by their personal deflector shields that encased the unit in an energy bubble. These shields could block blaster fire and even deflect lightsaber strikes, while still allowing the Droideka's own weapons to pass through. Once shields failed, the Droideka's bronzium alloy armor provided additional protection against physical damage. But despite their power, the Droidekas of course were not invincible. Clone troopers eventually learned that rear attacks, electromagnetic pulse grenades, and slow-moving physical objects could bypass or even disable their defenses. When fully deployed, a Droideka stood roughly around 6 feet tall. While its exact weight really has never been specified in canon, it was significantly heavier than standard infantry droids and of course required reinforced joints to support both its rolling mobility and combat stances. The greatest limitation of the Droideka, of course, was its cost. Canon sources repeatedly emphasized that Droidekas were extremely expensive to manufacture, costing many times more than standard battle droids. This expense prevented the Separatists from fielding them in massive numbers and ensured that Droidekas remained as elite assets rather than common infantry. In 19 BBY, following Order 66 and the destruction of the Separatist leadership, Emperor Palpatine issued a galactic-wide shutdown command that deactivated the remaining Separatist droid forces. Officially, Droideka's production ended at this point. However, destroyer droids did not vanish entirely. Scattered units were salvaged, reactivated, or even reprogrammed in the years that followed. Some appeared in gladiatorial arenas, others became security droids for smugglers or criminal syndicates, and a handful were even used by both Rebel and Imperial forces in limited capacities. The Droideka remains one of the most iconic and feared droids in all of Star Wars canon. It represents the height of Separatist droid engineering and forced both Jedi and clone troopers to adapt their tactics simply to survive encounters with it. Even decades after their official shutdown, a functional Droideka is still considered a very serious threat. Its legacy is one of speed, power, and psychological intimidation, a reminder that in Star Wars, the most dangerous weapons are not always organic. And that's all you need to know about the Destroyer droid. If you enjoyed this breakdown, feel free to like the video and consider subscribing if you like these type of deep dives. And also let me know in the comments, what would you like me to cover next? Until next time, may the Force be with you and take care.